my name is Mr. Abe. I'll be taking you English language on this channel, and by the grace of God, we are going to be taking English language topics one after the other. And as well, I would like it if you can comment below this video to request any topic of your choice that you want us to discuss on this channel. Thank you very much for that. Today, we are going to be discussing dependent clause versus independent clause. Now, what's a dependent clause? A dependent clause is one that relies on being used with another clause, usually another type of clause that is called main clause or independent clause. What we are talking about is this dependent clause or subordinate clause is a group of words that cannot act or stand on its own without depending on another set of words called main clause or independent clause. Then when used on its own, a dependent clause will not make any sense. When it is used on its own, it will not make any sense. That is, it will not be meaningful, and it will need further information to turn it into one. That is, there's going to be additional information or the additional information from main clause or independent clause to have a meaningful thought. That is what dependent clause is. Now let's look at some examples to corroborate what we have been saying so far. Here are some examples of a dependent clause. Number one, what the man did was not useful to the situation. When you look at this first sentence, I've already made it easy by underlining the dependent or the subordinate clause in that sentence. If we are to separate what I underlined from the remaining words, both sides are not meaningful. If we are to say what the man did on its own, it's not meaningful. Was not useful to the situation as well is not meaningful. Until we have the two joined together, that is when we have a complete sentence. So what I underlined there is called a subordinate or dependent clause. I hope that is clear. Now to sentence number 2. The prize will be given to whoever wins the race. In sentence number 2, I underlined some group of words as well, and that is known to be a dependent or a subordinate clause in sentence number 2. So if we are to separate this underlying group of words from the remaining set of words, one will be meaningful while the other will not be meaningful. So let's do that and see. The prize will be given. That is meaningful on its own. The prize will be given, and that is a complete sentence. In a complete sentence, if we are to have the subject and a verb, that is a complete sentence already. So any other set of words coming after it will be additional words. So the prize will be given. That's a complete sentence. The prize act as subject, then will be given as verb phrase, will be what? Will be the predicated part of it. So this already makes a complete sentence. Now we have whoever wins the race joined to the main clause there, then we have a complete thought. I hope this is clear. Now sentence 3. She finally finished her college course after many years of studying. In number 3, sentence number 3, after many years of studying is a subordinate or a dependent clause that is joined to another main clause or an independent clause. Let's see. She finally finished her college course. That is a complete sentence. Then we have the addition of a subordinate clause or a dependent clause to it, then we have a complete thought. So the subordinate clause there gives additional information about the person that finished a course and how many years it took the person to finish the course. Now, sentence number 4, which is the last one. Where is the milk which was in the fridge? Where is the milk which was in the fridge? So in this last sentence, we have a main clause and a subordinate clause joined together to form a complete sentence. Where is the milk? That is a question on its own and it's a complete sentence. Then we have the addition of which was in the fridge as a subordinate or a dependent clause. I hope this is clear. Now let's progress to the second half of the topic, which is an independent clause or a main clause. Now, what is an independent clause? It is a group of words called an independent or main clause that can be used as a standalone sentence that is on its own. It can act alone and stand alone and be meaningful. Or you use it with another clause to form a compound sentence or a complex sentence. What we are saying in essence here is that anything called an independent clause or a main clause can be a group of words that can act alone on its own and be meaningful, and at the same time you can add it to another type of clause that is what? Subordinate or dependent clause to form a complete sentence. But on its own, an independent clause can act and stand alone. I hope that is clear. Now let's look at some examples on what I just said. Here are two examples of an independent clause. We want to see how these work for what I just explained under the definition of an independent clause. Sentence number 1. Waiting for the mail to come is tedious. Waiting for the mail to come is tedious. That is a complete sentence, a main clause on its own. So according to what I said in the definition, I said an independent or main clause can stand on its own and be meaningful. That is what happened here in sentence number 1. In sentence number 2, I said when I was explaining that an independent or main clause as well can act within another group of within a sentence when a subordinate or dependent clause is joined with it. So that is what happens here in sentence 2. Waiting for the mail to come is tedious. That is a main clause joined with another clause type, which is a dependent or subordinate. And the dependent subordinate in this sentence is what I underlined, especially when I have better things to do. So this gives additional information to the main clause that we have, that waiting for the mail to come is tedious when I have additional things to do, better things to do. So that is additional information to the main clause. I hope this is clear to you. So I'll be glad if you can comment below this video and also enable your notification so that when I have new videos in here, you can easily be alerted for more videos. Thank you very much.